with everything being canceled or delayed, San Diego Comic-Con looks like that's not gonna happen. Let's be real about it. It's not happening.
And there's talks at the minute that it's gone. They just haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Right now, for people who thought that it would magically show up, no, it's not.
No.
Currently right now. It's like you can't. For me anyway, you can't even like go to the store without having a mask. That's mandatory.
You say that's going to be the way Europe's going in a minute. So
that's how for where we are in Vermont too. Like it's recommended, but not just everybody has it.
It's it's different here. They're not playing around. Like you will not be able to go into any stores if you do not have a mask or something to cover your mouth.
And the thing is, what I want to bring into the conversation here, and it's the main kind of takeaway from this. And it's like E3. It's very comparable. Mm-hmm. Once the studios realize you don't need a Comic-Con or a convention, it's officially over, right? Like, yeah, I mean, look, San Diego Comic-Con, I can't disclose the numbers or New York or anything, but we have people we know that work for them. I know specific people that work for people that are running some of these big booths. And when I tell you that they spend astronomical amounts of money on 100 square feet, like, you would be shocked to how much it costs. Now, imagine 3 to 4 times size of that, and what you get back isn't really worth it anymore. They're going to realize that same thing when they just drop something, announcement digitally or something. It's going away.
It's going to be a little different because, for, like, Comic-Cons, because originally it was just for comic nerds and stuff. So you might just go back down to that again without, the big name brands coming in and doing what they need to do. Because for people who don't know, getting like a booth or a table there costs a lot of money. And to get that stuff built, for prop builders, they like charge a premium, like 300 to 400 times their going rate. Because if you don't know, some people who ask for like booths will call the prop makers and ask for their rate. They'll give them a general rate for hourly wages, but then they'll ask what's the occasion for? And if you say like for a con or like San Diego Comic-Con or E3, they'll say, oh, you get the con charge, and it's like 400 to 500 times.
And no, you can't lie about it. You're a corporation with a lot on the line. Before people mention, why don't they just lie about it? It's like no. That's and like, what people have to understand is the prop makers that make these things. Like, let's say you go to the Marvel booth, right? Yeah. And 2011, I think it was, San Diego Comic-Con had like Thor's throne. That thing is not Marvel Studios. They give a reference to the people that build the set. That thing is constructed, brought there, broken down, and put away by nobody at Marvel. It is actually somebody else, a third-party exhibitor that they have to pay. And they charge an arm and a leg, and then Marvel charges for the floor space, and it costs a lot of money to put on a show like this. Then you got to pay for the theater, which is the IGN theater, which is they hold 5,000 people and all this. And some of these costs right now, this year, we're going to see that, oh, well, we didn't have to spend $30 million to go to San Diego and New York and all these conventions, especially at a time where we just learned that Disney's losing $30 million a day.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, I think this is going to be like gaming, an industry style shift for conventions, and it's not going to surprise me if when things get back to normal, Marvel just does the thing they did a couple years before Age of Ultron, where Kevin Feige was just like the fan event. It's going to turn to that from now on. Like, that's the best way to do it.
Right now, I just looked up San Diego Comic-Con's website, because I was like, okay, what is their things doing? So on their top scrolling thing, it says the Comic-Con offices are closed. They're still working only via email, and they're pushing so hard their WonderCon at home. And I've been seeing a lot of advertisements for it, and they're doing like all those interviews and things like that, all from home offices now. So
It's really cool from what I've seen, because I gotten a lot of that and I looked into it. And what they're doing is they're making a virtual Comic Con where you can get exclusives, all of them online, where it's a lot readily available. Than we're only going to give out 10,000 copies of this. We're giving out as many copies as you can order, and we'll ship them out. So it's just one way to do it. But I don't know if San Diego can do something like that, because they're like hoping that the governor will allow them to go and make the con on a last-ditch effort, but it's not.
It's not going to happen.
It's not happening. It's
because isn't it currently? Is it a homeless shelter or is it a makeshift hospital?
Most of convention centers are becoming makeshift hospitals. Yeah, over here, because they even have
that's going to be there for a while. So.
Even the fact that here, and we're in a smaller area that isn't as affected, like our fairgrounds, our college campus, room, their stadium rooms and things like that, or basketball courts, are all turning into makeshift hospitals. So it's anywhere that conventions happen, even in our small state, are all being converted to something else. So it's you have to realize San Diego can't happen this year.
So how many people go to Comic-Con on average?
They were expecting 150,000 people.
Yeah, there's no way. Who's gonna
I think that's over 10.
Want to squeeze into a tiny little building filled with 100,000
just for people who are trying to give out hope. Put this in perspective. San Diego Comic-Con is most likely canceled. A lot of other smaller conventions in California, I've been getting notifications for the past 2 weeks where cancel.
Yep.
Cancel.
Little ones go, the big ones go.
I was reading a thing where they're certain theater chains and events want to implement you must stand 6 feet apart and only a certain amount, and we'll let you in at a certain time, and they're thinking of applying that principle to schooling as well if this continues. You can go to school and you'll be 10 people in the class, but you got to sit this far apart, and you go for 2 hours a day, then the next... Look, that's kind of how it's going to go everywhere. So movie theater, San Diego, all this... that's not this year.
Earlier this year, right when everything really started to happen, and this is where the reality of things started to hit. We had PAX East, and PAX happened right when it hit here in the States, and a lot of PAX shut down. But you still saw so many people try cramming in there with all of the uncertainties of it. Mm-hmm. And it shows you if people are sitting there, people would be smart enough and they would keep their distance. No, they wouldn't.
Well, it's they gave us press passes to a convention coming up where it was going to have a bunch of Marvel actors and all that, and we were going to go.
Yep.
And then the PAX thing happened, and I told Shay, I was like, we're not going. And you were still optimistic. I was like, Shay, we're not going. It's going to be dead by then.
I love the people that are still optimistic about things going on this year. It's you have...
This was in March, though. This is before things started to really unravel, and that's when I was optimistic. And literally, the moment that convention shut down, too, and everything started, I'm just hoping, I'm optimistic that I'll still be able to go outside in May. That's at the point that I'm at right
now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where we're at.
Actually, hold on. Before I laugh even more, which May?
Yeah. Let's preface the year.
I feel kind of it's really interesting on how everything is going. Rhode Island Comic Con is a convention that we love going to, and earlier in the year we were actually planning on going because
we want to it's scenarios of conventions that you want to go, right? And you're it's coming out and they're inviting people and you want to go, but don't commit to it this year because you're not guaranteeing that you're going to make it, right? Even though the convention, Rhode Island, they're still selling tickets and stuff. November, is everything going to be okay? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
All you've got to do is look at the theatre situation, right? Like, Italy's not expecting to have theatres open until at least December, right? China's lost nearly 2,500 chains. So it's kind of, if they're going, conventions aren't going to hang around whatsoever. And if it's at like that sort of a time frame, like, I think Italy's banned most mass gatherings until at least December.
Yeah,
at least, and that's just a kind of like precaution thing. Like, if it goes if it's not great until like November, we're just going to extend that ban. Like,
like, I'm optimistic that by the end of 2021, you'll start seeing small restriction conventions popping back up in the States.
Yeah,
you'll see them pop back up. But the thing about it is that, will people want to go?
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the question, because they're going to know that people aren't going to really want to go. So do you bother even doing it?
Well,
nope.
Armin and I, we had a discussion about it. Like, there's a possibility, say, when conventions start to come back up, that you'll actually have to sign a waiver prior, being like, you have a chance of potentially getting this virus.
Or when you buy your ticket, that'll be there.
Yeah,
it'll be a disclaimer.
So everything's just going to be rebranded to RonaCon?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
But I feel like they're gonna do slow kind of rollouts of them. They're going to force the fact that it'll be small amounts of crowds, and
which then is counterintuitive to what these people want to do.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like they'll do by like, you know how certain panels are at certain times? Your ticket will be like, you're allowed in the convention, on the convention floor between 2 and 4. Like, there's your 2-hour block. You leave, here's the next 2-hour block. Like, so they can still...
So what did, like, say, like, someone like Marvel Studios and Hall H do at that point then? Do you even bother showing up?
You don't show up.
No.
That's a waste. That is.
They would just do everything digital at that point.
I was like, do you just like make a little film and just like act like a theater and just play it over and over and over again every day?
Right.
Probably.
Like, you just get people in that way. But like...
Here's what you do. Your next D23 that you were going to have, you're going to open up a D23 tab on Disney Plus.
Ooh.
And you drop videos on there with the top things. Being like, here's what's coming for the next 2 years. Yep. Tune in right now, and here you go, and it'll be here for you. Like,
that's an interesting... Does D23 in Japan this year still go ahead?
No.
No, I have a feeling.
From what I've heard and saw, they're probably going to get shut down pretty soon too. So
right, because you could, in theory, just make D23 a streaming thing on Disney Plus.
You really can.
But just do the Comic-Con stuff on that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, like, I've seen a lot of things are just going full digital. Like, you submit this. So say if you wanted to do a cosplay competition for D23, because D23 loves showing off the cosplayers.
The fans that show that are hardcore, yeah.
Be like, hey, if you have something, submit a little video of you, like, strutting your stuff in your outfit, and we'll judge that.
Well, I mean, Marvel already did that. They do that every year with San Diego and New York. Like, you submit stuff and they'll, like, you know, showcase it. And I think that's kind of the way of the future, honestly, is these fan events by the big studios, corporations, right? Like, it's kind of and it's a thing that already exists before people say that it'll never work. Apple, Google, they all have them. They all have these fan-centric events that are huge. So
Sony literally just had one to replace, was it GCD?
Yeah.
What they did to the whole PS5.
Right, they were going to do the game developer.
Yeah. Like the Photoshop crowd in the front.
Yeah.
Well, the animated Photoshop crowd, because it moved a couple times.
Was it animated? I didn't see it move.
Oh, they moved occasionally,
yeah. They moved a couple of times, because people in the chat were like, it moved.
Oh my god.
It was like,
that is just flat. Like, it
was like the scene from Home Alone where he uses like the cardboard cutouts. That's how
yes.
It looks. Yes. Let's reference that.
Macaulay Culkin was actually there, just off screen, like
He was the one moving them.
So what we're telling you before we get off this topic is Comic-Cons. We'll see how those go. 2 years from now. And
if you have to ask if something's going to happen this year, the answer is no.
The answer is no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you for taking the time to watch that video. If you guys would like more content that we offer here for channel members, which you guys can check out in the little join button down below, we do offer additional content, such as exclusive podcasts and topic discussions, our gaming podcast, Star Wars TV series reviews, Marvel show reviews, DC Universe and CW reviews. We offer personal vlogs, backlog reviews of TV shows and movies, video game topics and Q&As, and of course, in one of our best tiers, we offer audio commentaries on TV shows and movies, along with a bunch of other stuff you guys can check out just by clicking that join button and seeing what is on offer.